Bitcoin price is now $96,200, give or take, and it's down 10% in the past week. Fear in the crypto markets is peaking, marking a pretty much all-time low of 10 on the Fear and Greed Index. Users of Kalshi expect Bitcoin's price to drop as low as $87,000 before the end of the year. Connor Kenny's out here reminding me that USDC created another $500 million out of thin air the other day. And of course, we've got so much to discuss in today's crypto news because we have bullish and bearish, but the thing is, everyone is so bearish right now that I can't help but be bullish and expect at least some kind of relief bounce in the not too distant, very short-term future. But we do have another problem arising right now. That is the average cost of what MicroStrategy has paid per Bitcoin, reducing something called the NAV premium to 1. And we're going to talk about that and why that could potentially cause an even bigger blow up than what we thought possible in the crypto market. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, so you should drop a like on this video and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Can we get at least one like on this video? I'm sure we can, but honestly, I really do appreciate it when you press the like button. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice, investment advice, or any form of recommendation. So let's talk about this. Bitcoin, $96,000. MicroStrategy on the verge of collapse. It's not going to collapse, let's be honest. But that doesn't mean there isn't a lot of chatter about it collapsing. There is a lot of chatter about MicroStrategy collapsing at the moment. So let's start off with that. You see this thing here, which says 1.04x. That's the NAV premium. Now, the NAV premium is MicroStrategy's market cap, which is currently $57 billion, divided by the value of their Bitcoin, which is currently $61 billion. And that gives a value of 1.04x. Now, if that number dips below 1, we don't actually have a problem, in my opinion at least, because I think that many people actually think that there is a problem. We've got to talk about what the people have been saying. But from my perspective, when it drops below 1, if you buy one MicroStrategy share, then it is cheaper than buying Bitcoin. And that, from my perspective, has always been the play with MicroStrategy. Basically, the premium has disappeared from MicroStrategy. And we can use this chart to see how that has happened, because basically, over the course of the past kind of 6 months, not even 6 months, it's kind of since June of this year, they started decoupling a little bit, and MicroStrategy has dropped 41% in the time that Bitcoin has fallen about 20%. But actually, it's not dropped 41% because it was up 30%, so it's actually dropped a hell of a lot more than that. And these two lines decoupling here is the premium disappearing from MicroStrategy. But why does it matter? And I found this amazing post on Reddit that explains what the NAV premium is, how it can affect Bitcoin, and why it can turbo nuke the market. And it's even more interesting as we go through this to realize that this was written 1 year ago. NAV premium of 1.0 for MicroStrategy would represent a significant arbitrage opportunity for shareholders, especially now that the company has established itself through a full market cycle. Such a scenario would create immense buying pressure, preventing the NAV premium from staying at or below 1. But why? Because purchasing MSTR at a NAV premium of 1 effectively becomes a cash machine for shareholders each time MicroStrategy issues a convertible bond. This is what's interesting as well. MicroStrategy is not actually reporting the correct MNAV. The correct MNAV currently is sitting at 0.93. So it is sat below 1 right now. So you can actually buy Bitcoin for about 7% cheaper than what it costs on the market if you have to buy MicroStrategy shares. The average cost that MicroStrategy paid per Bitcoin is currently $74,000, which is pretty wild when you think like MicroStrategy is buying so much Bitcoin above 100k. And now we're back below 100k. What actually happens here? Because like realistically, MicroStrategy's liquidation point is somewhere in the $20,000 range when people don't see value in buying MicroStrategy stock anymore and they've completely given up on Bitcoin, and then all of the loans would come due and the company would go bankrupt because the share capital wouldn't be enough to pay off the loan. Being realistic though, when we have seen data like this in the past, it has always been a buy opportunity. Like, it's not like they're stopping printing money, just ask Connor. And the other question that you've got to ask yourself is, A, is MicroStrategy a government plant of an organization, or B, is MicroStrategy now under attack by the institutions that want to acquire all of that Bitcoin that MicroStrategy hold for cheap? Because yesterday, BlackRock clients dumped $463 million of Bitcoin, the largest single dump that they've ever done in a single day. And then the news hit that apparently MicroStrategy is also dumping their Bitcoin, which makes no sense because they're not allowed. But they're not. And also Michael Saylor was on Twitter straight away saying, no, we're not. Please don't report that, Walter. Now, I still remain bullish despite the current market conditions, and this is, again, a reason why I'm currently bullish, being that Crypto Tony is out there on Twitter saying that there's a liquidity injection reminder. Treasury will start injecting liquidity within 2 to 3 days. JP Morgan expects nearly 300 billion in liquidity injection by mid-December. Got to remember, government shutdown has ended. We're likely to see government services starting to boot back into action. Mid-December, we've got another Fed rate cut meeting, and when that rate cut meeting takes place, currently it's a 50% chance of a rate cut. But before then, we've got the fluctuation in that percentage that will likely yield some more market moves. But if there is going to be more cash in society and there's going to be money printing, then the prices of everything are going to go up. And just yesterday, Eric Trump went onto CNBC and told us how Bitcoin and crypto is going to replace the entire global financial ecosystem, bearing in mind that this guy's dad is president.
There's no reason at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon I shouldn't be able to send out a Swift wire transfer. Right now you can't. I try and make a transfer every single week, and you're trying to push before the 5 o'clock deadline to either receive money or to get it out. How is that modern day finance? You can send $500 million worth of Bitcoin.
He's right.
On a Sunday night at 11 p.m. while having a glass of wine with your wife for virtually zero fees. How is the system this lethargic? Why does it take you 120 days to get go through Know Your Customer with your bank if you want to get a home mortgage? It doesn't make any sense. Cryptocurrency is going to fix every single one of these issues, and Bitcoin is digital gold. Bitcoin is going to be one of the greatest stores of value we've ever seen.
I love the language. He definitely takes after his dad there. But the point remains, his dad's president, and if his son wants Bitcoin to be #1 thing on earth, then he probably is going to happen. And bearing in mind how low Bitcoin's price is currently sitting, like think about currently the recent increase in the price of gold. Rover posted this chart on Twitter earlier, and I thought it was really interesting to see the price of gold rising, and yet Bitcoin's gold value is consistently in a bear market right now, and to be fair, we're nowhere near all-time highs. Bitcoin has been significantly underperforming gold. I also found this post as well. Do you remember? I remember this. When Solana was $9. It used to be $259. Then it went down to $9, and then it went back up to $300. This can't happen. I'm telling you now, this won't happen. Like, I'm not throwing all of my money. Bearing in mind how much money I've recently put into Solana, at and around and a little bit higher than the current prices, Solana's not going back down there. That happened because FTX was holding a very large amount of Solana, and everyone was very scared that FTX would dump that Solana supply on the market. Then everyone exited before FTX could exit, and then everyone just thought Solana was gone. But everyone neglected the fact that Solana had raised hundreds of millions of dollars a couple of years ago and still had all of that money to continue to progress, and they still do now. And then finally, in what's turned out to be today's crypto news segment, I found this clip again. Ivan on Tech, what a guy, calling out Richard Hart, who owns Hex, for being a leader. Now, just with the context here, Richard Hart told everyone to buy Hex because they'll get rich, and then he told them to donate all of the money that they'd made getting rich on Hex to PulseChain. And if you know anything about PulseChain, it's not gone very well.
I mean, I understand Richard because PulseChain tokenomics are so bad. Like, it's the worst tokenomics ever. It's the worst tokenomics. He needs a new thing. He needs a new thing without too many holders because he really messed up PulseChain tokenomics. It's the worst because people sacrificed a lot, so they want big return, obviously, and the market cap you need for that, so everyone has this big, like, it's impossible. And also, just a reminder, this is what he said, Richard said a few years ago on my channel. Listen to this. And then compare what he said to what he does now.
They got a bunch of volunteers making their shitcoin worth more when they raised multiple billions of dollars. Like, why does a company that's raised billions of dollars need fucking volunteers for anything? What? Because they can. Because people are so stupid. They're like, yo, we'll trade you real money for fake money. And then...
And you gave ETH for Pulse, and you're volunteering, pumping this stuff for years. Okay?
Of course, looking back in history, it's easy to say things. With hindsight, maybe Hex being up at... What market cap did it actually reach? Hex being up at a $75 billion market cap, maybe it wasn't worth $75 billion. But the main problem comes from the fact that he made everyone sacrifice money for PulseChain. And it wasn't a small amount of money that people sacrificed for PulseChain. They sacrificed over $1 billion. Over $1 billion was sent in funding to PulseChain, which now sits everybody in a loss at a $299 million market cap. The price has done nothing but come down since it launched. And it is kind of sad because I know actually quite a lot of Hex guys, and they made a lot of money from Hex and they did great off it, but then they all put the money into this and now they've got nothing. So Richard, come on, get back to work, make another Ponzi scheme, and yeah, I think we covered basically just every single topic in crypto just now. So finally, what do we expect is going to happen this weekend? I'm a bit worried that we come down to 92K. I'm not placing any trades this weekend. I'd recommend that you don't either. Have a nice weekend. weekend off, enjoy some sunshine, and go and get some sleep. Next week is going to be a completely mad week. If we see a continuation of this downtrend, this is going to get nasty, and you need to be in a position of which you can take advantage of that. Now, I actually kind of believe in the dead cat bounce, as I say. Like, I really believe that that'll happen. It's just we didn't see $92,000. The lowest that we saw in the range was $93,900, so we didn't close the gap. There is still a gap, and there is still a level of support that hasn't been tested down at the very bottom of this range that seems very likely that it should happen at some point very soon. Thing is, if it happens over a weekend, it means nothing, which is why I'm saying, like, this weekend is complete no man's land. We will find out at 1:30, 2:30 p.m. on Monday when the US markets open as to what actually is the situation here. We don't know. The AI bubble potentially is collapsing, MicroStrategy potentially collapsing, or alternatively, it's an amazing buy the dip moment. I'm treating it as a buy the dip moment. I've been buying the dip on spot, but I'm not taking any trades just this weekend, just because I want to enjoy my life for a couple days and then it's back to the madness. That, of course, means that you still have time to join the $10,000 to $1 million trading challenge that you'll find linked to the top of today's video description. We haven't placed a trade for it yet, so there's still time to join. Use that link, use code 35OFF on the monthly plan, and it'll make it so much cheaper than you losing all of your money taking bad trades because you're following me and we make money most of the time, but of course I'm not a financial advisor. Check out the deals in today's video descriptions for BLOFIN and WEEX. WEEX is offering a 50% deposit bonus, and BLOFIN, I know it says 15%, but it's actually 20%. They've just not sent me the updated graphic yet. They're giving you a 20% deposit bonus. Now, the BLOFIN one is actually technically bigger than the WEEX one because the WEEX one has a cap. Just follow the instructions on the screen, get your free money, and I'll see you tomorrow with a video from the founders of EganLayer, and we talk about the future of the altcoin space. So drop a like. Come on, let's get a 10 quadrillion likes, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, by the way. Really appreciate that. Make sure you drop a like, 'cause honestly, it'll bang in the algorithm. Thanks. See you in a bit. Ciao.